We hear today that some Greeks wanted to see Jesus. Out of curiosity, they must have heard who this personality was, and they had a great desire to see him. This incident, this experience of these Greeks must put a few questions to us. First of all, do we have this desire like the Greeks to see Jesus? Let's consider for a moment the answer that Jesus gave to these Greeks when the apostles approached him, and they must have told him, listen, there are some people who would like to see you. As when a personality arrives in Malta, the Pope, the Queen, some big name, a star, football star, or one of the big actresses or song stars that we have, idols of this world. Everyone wants to see them. Everyone wants to watch. And Jesus rebuked them. Or the answer, to say the least, he gave them back was very confusing. He did not say to his apostles, yes, of course, let's make an appointment. Bring them over. I would like to speak to them, to convert them, to give them new life. He didn't answer that way. The answer he gave was, tell them that a grain of wheat, unless it dies, it will not bear fruit. And he announced once again of his coming death, of his coming passion, that he was going to do the will of his Father, of going up to Calvary, being crucified innocently there. He was not at all interested in people, in showing himself to people as a star or as an image. That is only a superficial way of meeting a person. It's not knowing the person. When we see the Pope, when we see these big stars, we see them and that's that. There's not knowing people. That's not how Jesus wants us to look at him. He wants us to know him. He wants us to dialogue with him. He wants us to follow in his footsteps. He wants us to be the grain of wheat also that dies so that we can bear fruit. This is the way that the church gives so much importance to the cross of Jesus. The cross that sometimes we don't like. Not only on ourselves, but also as a symbol. Even today, we had a few controversies. The cross must be taken away from the classrooms because it might offend others who do not believe in him. A few weeks ago, I read the news in a parish in the United States. During Lent, the parish priest put up 3 big crosses in front of his church on the lawn of the church and the Parvis. And there were protests from neighborhood because it would give a bad image to the area. Why? Because we don't like the cross. We don't like the image, even the image of a cross. We don't like the pain. It reminds us too much of what actually happened 2,000 years ago, of an innocent person being crucified on the cross. And then, of course, it is also the sign of the times, in the sense that we live in a culture where the idea of failure is spreading, and it's appalling. We don't like to be crucified. We don't like the pain. We don't want to be second best. The idea of being powerless, as the crucified, as the crucifix shows, being unsuccessful is not a good image for this world. We admire winners, not losers. People at the top of the game, even in the Olympic Games. There was once an advert, a Nike advert, in one of the Winter Olympics, which said, if you have arrived not to win a medal in the Olympics, you just came as a tourist. And that shows how it goes against the spirit of the Olympic Games, of the Coubertin, that the important thing is not the winning, but the participation in the games and the sports. So this is the culture of the time we are living. And so that's why maybe the cross comes against our way of living today. That's why we as Christians must say with St. Paul that we are proud of this cross. Why? Because we believe that was the love of God for us, and that we need to follow the way that Christ went. Christ did not like the pain. Christ did not want to go through all that pain and suffering in the crucifixion that he suffered, because he was a human person, he was a human being, and we don't like to suffer. But that was the will of the Father, and he had to follow, and he wanted to do the will of the Father. And so we need to lose to gain. We need to go through the pain in order to be risen with Christ. What does that mean? It means that we need to suffer. We need to accept certain conditions of our life. We need to take off our pride when we have to say sorry to someone we have inflicted pain. Our pride does not allow us. We don't want to die. Our pride tells us, yes, carry on, inflicting pain to someone you love. Don't worry. Never apologize. Never say sorry. Never forgive. That's what we hear as ourselves telling us. We don't like the crucifix. We don't like to be humiliated. We don't like to ask pardon or say sorry or forgiveness. So the cross of Christ is difficult for us to follow. Yes, we must admit. In our Christian life, we need to be proud of this cross, not only be proud of it, but follow it and do it. And by doing it, we need to go through the sufferings of humiliation, of humbleness, of sacrifice. This was shown to us not only by Christ, but also by his mother Mary. She never protested against the innocence against the injustice that was being done to her son, who was being crucified and treated the way he was treated. We prefer more Jesus to speak about the good things he had done on earth. And we also would like the church to speak more about the Cana wedding, where the water was turned into wine, or the picnic he made with a few loaves and fishes and fed 10,000 people. We would like Jesus to be more powerful, more loving. And he was loving, and he was powerful. But this power came through the cross that he suffered innocently. His mother too came up to the cross with him, and for 2,000 years, so many people have taken up that way, that path of crucifixion, of suffering in this life, so that they too were risen. In our small way, we also need to take up this road. We have our own afflictions, our pain, our rejections, our addictions, our problems in relationships. These are our problems. We need to take up with patience, with love, with forgiveness and compassion, so that we accept each other, we accept Christ in our life and follow in his footsteps. The sickness that comes up, old age that comes up, we need to take it as Christ has taken his cross and taken up and go up with hope, with love, so that we too will follow in his footsteps. Let's now read together this prayer that we have on the screen, so that we too will follow in his path. My God, desire of my heart, I want to follow you, at least to start, from morning to evening, and all night long, to see your face and hear your song in all the people whose paths cross mine, and learn to wonder, not to whine. Heart is right, my head is true, yet I often choose myself, not you. Implant in me a broader hope, a deeper trust, that your happiness is truly gold, not rust. Do not save me from my hour of pain, but let me know it is not loss, but gain.